Senator Tom Cotton, member of the Intelligence and Armed Services Committees. Senator, good morning. Thanks for being here. So McConnell is vowing quick action on this bill. Do you see that happening?
I certainly hope so, Sandra. I want to commend Senator Tim Scott for his thoughtful and careful approach to the Justice Act, which I'm proud to co-sponsor. It really highlights the difference between the two parties and the way we approach policing questions. The Republican bill will provide more resources and guidance for police training and resourcing, and it'll hold officers accountable when they do the wrong thing, as all good officers want to do. Unfortunately, the House Democrats' bill would try to essentially defund the police, put left-wing groups in charge of policing standards. I trust that there are enough Democrats in the Senate that at least want to start to have this debate in good faith next week, that we can bring Tim Scott's bill to the floor, start to debate it. They can offer amendments they would like, but we want to make sure that police officers in this country have the resources and the training necessary to be the best servants to their communities they can be.
But still, so many Democrats were quick to criticize that new bill, some even before it was actually unveiled and they had a chance to fully dig through it. Here's Chuck Schumer on what he sees as the bill's shortcomings. Listen.
The Senate Republican proposal on policing does not rise to the moment. The Democratic bill has a ban on no-knock warrants in federal drug cases, while the Republican bill only requires data on no-knock warrants. The Democratic bill has a publicly available nationwide database on misconduct. The Republican bill would keep such information almost entirely shielded from public view.
So Chuck Schumer claims that this bill, the GOP unveiled bill yesterday, does not rise to the occasion, his words. But still, some Democrats are conceding that so much of these two bills are the same. In some cases, about 90% of the bill. So why are we having such a hard time seeing the two parties come together on this, Senator?
Well, there are a lot of similarities in the bill. For instance, both bills, as well as the president's executive order, would ban chokeholds in most circumstances when an officer's life is not in danger. What Chuck Schumer is saying is that there aren't poison pills in Tim Scott's bill that the Republicans could never accept. So, for instance, banning no-knock warrants entirely. No-knock warrants have to be approved by a judge, whether that's in federal court or in local court. Now, we do want to get more information and data about no-knock warrants and how they're used and if they're overused. But to say to police officers that they can never go to an independent judge and get a warrant that allows them to knock down the door of a dangerous drug kingpin or a known murderer is a step too far that Republicans simply cannot accept. Just like we cannot accept the risk of putting police officers in court for civil lawsuits where they would be personally liable out of their own pocket for every single disgruntled criminal with whom they ever come into contact. That's what the Republican bill lacks. If Chuck Schumer thinks he has the votes for that and the support of the American people, then he should allow the debate to happen on Tim Scott's bill, and we should amend it next week. That's the way the Senate is supposed to work.
And then, of course, it's going to be up to the president what he is ultimately willing to support once the two parties are able to come together. Still, the president continuing with this message saying that Democrats just want to do away with the police altogether. Here's the president.
The Democrats, all they do is complain. You know, they complain, but they've done nothing. They do nothing. They want to defund and they want to abolish. They want to abolish police departments. And that's what's going to be. You know, with Biden, if you look, if he ever got in, you'd be abolishing police.
Okay, so we'll leave it at that, Senator. But meanwhile, I want to transition now because it's been 2 weeks since your op-ed was published in the Times and ultimately led to the resignation of the editorial page editor. You have a brand new op-ed, this one titled "Twitter Tried to Censor Me and They Lost." What are you writing about today as we learn more about Google trying to influence the decision of some of these publications like The Federalist, going after them for their comment section and not monitoring them strong enough? What is your message?
Sandra, so I revealed in an op-ed on the Fox News website that Twitter tried to permanently lock down my account if I refused to censor my own tweets on the topic of riots and looting. We got a call out of the blue about 2 weeks ago saying that if I didn't delete tweets, they would lock down my account. We receive shifting explanations, unclear guidance. I called Twitter's bluff. I did not delete those tweets in 30 minutes. They ultimately got back to me and said they weren't going to take action. But it's just an example of how arbitrary and hypocritical some of these social media platforms can be. As we saw this week, when an activist disguised as a journalist at NBC News tried to get Google to demonetize and deplatform The Federalist, a popular conservative website, for the comment section at The Federalist. Not an article, but the comment section. This is a section that is not monitored or curated by The Federalist, as most websites don't monitor or curate their comment section. I think it's a curious time for social media platforms to be taking action against uncurated comment sections when we have legislation under review in the Senate that would remove legal liability from these social media platforms, specifically because they do curate, monitor, and even censor their platforms in a way that, not surprisingly, always seems to disadvantage conservative points of view.
It will likely to continue. The Wall Street Journal yesterday, Google tries to cancel a conservative website. It is a debate that is surely firing up over censoring of free speech. We've got a guest from The Federalist coming up next hour. Senator Tom Cotton, appreciate your time this morning, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.